All right, welcome to another episode of Rubbing Elbows. I always hope to catch you off guard, because it's like a 30-second countdown, and I know I'm doing my last minute things, and I'm sure you're doing your last minute things, but it's much harder nowadays that we're doing it in the evening. We're not as distracted. How's it going, Chuck?
It's going great. I bet you can't guess what my last minute thing is, though.
No, I can't. Tell us.
It's LinkedIn. We get so much action on LinkedIn that I feel like I have to let all the colleagues know, like, hey, we're on 8 p.m. It'll show up on your feed, so be ready. And especially today, the guest we have today, he's kind of a big deal.
He's a very big deal. Absolutely. I'm actually excited. So I'm hoping we rush through our first segment of, the off-market deals. Before I get into the off-market deals, is there any announcements, anything that we need to mention, or are we good to go into the deals of the week?
I was going to suggest we do this new segment called You Never Know. We start talking about that, but
you never know.
Like, you never know when your next deal is going to come, where it's going to come from. I just talked to somebody who was like, yeah, I was at the park with my daughter and she was talking to some girl and the dad came around. What do you do? Oh, I'm a builder. Oh, no way. I want to invest. Boom, boom, boom. Now they're building a 6-unit together.
I love that actually, because when I first got back into the mortgage business and kind of was recreating myself, I felt like I had to go to every single lead that somebody called me on. And I was working with a lot of contractors and they'd have customers that would want to finance, the projects. And that's how I got my refinances. So I would, tell myself, don't prejudge. I know the deal doesn't look good. It doesn't make sense. I would still go just to get out there. And then even though the actual deal didn't work out, somehow, some way, it turned into a deal. Either somebody else was there or the neighbor, or just the fact that I was there and built that relationship, it created another one. So you may be onto something with this. You never know. What did you call it? You never know?
You never know. And I'll tell you what happened to me today. I was at Starbucks and I'm literally thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, we're getting a huge price reduction on this property. How do I get this thing moving, right? And all of a sudden, the guy in front of me, he looks back and he says, hey, and I say, hey, and we don't recognize each other because of the mask, but we kind of recognize each other. Anyways, it turns out to be Sid Libovich, the owner of Rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
So we're chatting, at Starbucks, whatever. He's like, you got anything in Woodland Hills? I'm like, I have something that's about to get a huge price reduction. And like one thing leads to another, boom, boom, boom. Putting together an offer for him. So you never know where it's coming from.
You never know. And it could be on the flip side too. But let's go ahead and get into our off-market deals of the week. So we'll start with our segment, Chuck's off-market deals of the week.
Go.
I feel like I need to make that little intro longer. Like I always get into it. All right. So what do we got, Chuck? Talk to us.
So we've got such an amazing opportunity, okay? Prime Studio City, corner lot, zoned LARD 1.5.
Ooh, that.
Yes, I believe we talked about that one earlier.
Well, just in general, LARD 1.5.
LARD 1.5.
A hot topic right now.
Yeah. So you can essentially do a 4-unit, 4 condos, four big, fourplex. In the future, it's going to take you some time to get your entitlements going, to get this, that, and the other. But as of right now, you've got a legal duplex that's on the property, plus a guest house, plus a 3-car garage that already has approved plans to get converted into an ADU, a 2-bedroom ADU. Okay?
Amazing.
So I had this property last week, a couple of weeks ago, for almost $1.7 million, $1,750,000, somewhere around there. And I was getting traction on it, but I had a hard time getting people in there to view it. It's completely vacant, which is also a huge plus. It's completely vacant.
Okay.
Now I have
all the existing units, the 3 units right now are livable to a degree. Meaning,
yeah, you're gonna have to do some light renovations. You're gonna have to do some light renovation, but yeah, they're livable. Okay. Now here's the beauty is I got a huge price reduction. I'm able to deliver this thing for $1,399,000, like $1,400,000 for this project here in Studio City. Beautiful. And it's walking distance to the CBS studios. So it's not even an issue getting tenants. Everybody wants to be close to work and walking distance to everything. Farmers market, it's all right there. Beautiful. It's beautiful. $1,400,000. I'll have more details on
$1,400,000. Wow.
LAfixers.com on the inventory.
And we can get, by the way, if anybody's buying a property like this, I think we talked about it on the Women's Council when we were there as the investors. You can, if you're going to live in one of the units, you could actually buy it owner occupied. If it's 1.4 and it's 3 units, I think you can get about $1 million, close to $1.1 million loan conventional. You can do FHA or conventional. So anybody interested, definitely connect with Chuck on that. And then if financing is needed, we can help. So here, let me pull that up. Go to LAfixers.com for more information. What else you got, Chuck?
Today I want to just give that one, and I want to focus just on that one because I think it's just too amazing of a deal. I don't want to take the focus away from it. Let's just leave it just on that one. It's that good.
It is that good. And you know what?
So good.
I think that maybe we should post up the pictures and videos that you have at the end of the show. So we'll do that as well. But why don't we? Let's jump
bring
into
in
our guest speaker. So we have the incredible, the one and only, the sought after. We've been trying to get him on the show for a long time. Meny Atias with Keller Williams. Let's bring him on. Hey, Meny, how are you, buddy?
Hey guys, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for finally coming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna absolutely take advantage of this opportunity and pick your brain for everybody watching, because you have a wealth of knowledge. You have trained and seen probably hundreds, if not close to thousands of agents at this point through your offices. So first of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming on. And
welcome.
I'd like to, before we get into picking your brain, why don't you just share with us your story, how you got into real estate, how did this whole thing start for you?
Thanks, guys. Good to be here. Next time, give me the heads up. I'll make sure to bring my cool mic and a hat. So sorry for being not properly dressed. In a nutshell, I was born and raised in Israel. As you know, did my time in the service, and after 11 years in uniform, I decided to do something else. So took a short break in the Red Sea down south in Israel, and just followed then my buddies from the service. Somehow ended up over here in the U.S. in a whole different business, different world. And a few months after I moved here, I bought this black book of Dean Graziosi. It's called the Millionaire, How to Become a Millionaire Real Estate Investor. So it's still out there, right? Dean Graziosi is like a East Coast, just smart person, smart guy, entrepreneur. And maybe weeks after that, the market crashed. That was in 2007. I moved there at the end of 2006. Oh. And a few years later, about in 2009, 2010. One of the guys in my community, in my circle, said like, "Hey, get your license." He lived through a few cycles, so I did, and I got my license, worked for the guy in the small boutique in Beverly Hills, and came across with KW a few years later, and really just adopted the principles that they taught me, business and lead generation, and just follow some kind of a model. And as a new agent, I did pretty well in 2 years' time, and I then left my full-time job into real estate and became the CEO of the first company within 6 months. And then I just started to go more into leadership and ownership. And today, 8 years after, right, 2013, since I joined KW, 5 offices, 1,300 agents. That's where we at currently.
That's incredible. That is such an incredible story to be able to move up that quickly. That's amazing. Good for you.
Not just move up, right? He came here from a different country, just learned the business through a book, and then today is responsible for,
While
we'll get into
while
that.
learning the culture, the language, like all the things that come with it. That's amazing.
I got some stories to tell. Yeah, the language is definitely, well, it works, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing I can tell you for sure is it's also it's a matter of it's a lot of learning, right? Curve, like you have to learn, you have to adapt, it's trial and error. It comes down to really what kind of people you have in your sphere at the end of the day, or people around you, people that guard you and you guard them, and you feed one another, and you support one another just to build something unique for that. Once again, feed and influence so many other people. That's where my true passion is.
Yeah, I have this question down here, and it's probably a perfect segue from what you just said right now. But how do you attract those right people into your sphere? And I mean, nowadays you have so many agents under you and so many offices. But how do you attract those people to want to join your team? There's so much competition out there.
Yeah, and competition is good. Every time there's a different angle, and like the market trend, the market shifts. Right now, all the big companies or the tech, right, want to be the next big ownership of the other companies, etc., or like the buffer between the consumer and the big money, which is all good. It's just part of how things evolve, etc. It's not really about competing. It's about how do you differentiate yourself from others by leading principles, right? So we really believe that brick and mortar is not dead. Okay, right. It's still here. We never, by the way, shut down any of our offices during pandemic. And we used to zoom out and zoom in a few years before pandemic came about, right? So it's build authentic, honest, sustainable culture and support to the client, which in our case is the agent, to support the businesses, right? And we encourage them to lead by take care of themselves first, and they're the family, and then business. That's where we come, down the food chain.
Yeah.
But we there to support, and when you build that kind of a culture, but with full vesting in what we do and what we believe in, I think it attracts people who are looking for something of that nature.
So how many offices now and how many agents are under your region?
I'm directly, I have involvement and ownership in 5 offices in the region, which is here in Southern California, from Calabasas all the way down to Long Beach. In our group, which is the Forward Living Group, we have about 14 offices, which makes us, that's by leadership and ownership of Paul Morris, who is one of the founders of KW here in Southern California, or in California overall, which makes us the biggest group in California and the second biggest in the nation within KW.
I was going to ask, because I know we talked about that before, which is it's incredible how there's so many agents and how you guys are like such a driving force. Do you have a way of, not in a blanket way of just like taking care of everybody, but kind of still keeping it somewhat personal, being able to, be able to give answers, because people will reach out to you and say, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I know I reached out to you a couple of months ago. I say, hey, I need someone in Long Beach, help me out. And boom, boom, you're able to connect me right away. How do you, not get overwhelmed with having so many agents under you?
I think that always a good question. I think first of all, you choose not to be overwhelmed, right? It's just a matter of choice. At the same time, you build systems. So one thing that I loved about KW, it's, if you break it down to 3 pieces, right, or 3 parts, is the part of the sales, right? Sales skill. You teach people how to go about sales, etc. And that portion, like any other company. And the second part is the culture. Every office, every company has a culture, so you focus on that, and that part of that is is the support system, etc. The last part that I passionate about the most is the business aspect, right? We teach business as well, and coming from a country, very entrepreneurial country, back there, they don't really teach you those fundamentals. I mean, you learn those things just by trial and error, a lot of error mostly. Here, it's just actually, hey, here's the book, right? Let's do it together. Let's show the road. So we're teaching agents, and we're also leading by example as well. So running such big operation, or multiple operations, once again, as I mentioned, there's got to be amazing people that I work with and work for myself, right? Nobody works for me. I work with other people. And I think that when you build that kind of a culture, then leveraging one another's strengths, right, works really, really well. So, and text me anytime. Text me if it's WhatsApp or just direct text. I'm gonna reach out to you, right? If you're gonna call me, it might take a bit longer. It's about the efficiency of the communication.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is really just to understand. And you guys, by the way, both you and Lior, you're mastering that. It's to be a hub, to be a connector. It's like the LinkedIn mentality, right?
Yeah.
Or the concept of like, okay, there's A and B. How do you connect them together? So you have to know the mechanism. You have to know a lot of people. You have to appreciate a lot of people, and then put the two dots together.
And that's crucial in building relationships and being able to have those connections to connect the dots, like you said. But I have a question, because I met you originally when we both sat on the board at one of the nonprofits that we were involved in, and I know you're a huge believer in giving back, and you practice what you preach, right? I know you have your agents always following into doing different activism things and community things. How do you, running so many offices, so many agents, how do you find the time to be able to give back as much as you do?
I remember at one point in my career, when I first started, I had to make a decision what kind of person I want to become. And like when you grow up, you always like, who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Who do you want to model, right? And that was a point that I just had to make a decision. Am I in it for figure of speech forever, for the long run, or am I just figuring things out? And I made a decision. I'm here forever in that sense. So I'm fully committed. So it turns into more of a lifestyle, rather than a job. And I'm fully committed to it, right? I'm a 3 a.m. club, so I wake up really, really early. And when I my day ends, which is like 10, 11 p.m., I'm all around. I'm evolving all around real estate and servicing my consumers, which is once again my agents, directly and indirectly is their clients as well. So it's just a matter of lifestyle and commitment. And when you're in it, everything that you do around it, even like socially, like the hikes that we do and the book clubs and the trips, it's just part of it. So it's not really a job. It's more of a commitment to a lifestyle of a community that you're part of.
Those are two really powerful things, by the way, that you said.
You're also 3 a.m. club, aren't you, Chuck? Don't you go to sleep every night?
I go to sleep around 3 a.m. Yes. I can wake you up. I can wake you up before I go to sleep.
Change of shifts.
By the way, I think it's really powerful what you said, to choose not to be overwhelmed, and then to choose the kind of person you want to be and make it a lifestyle. I think it's a really big thing when you say, wow, I'm doing this forever, so I need to be involved with all aspects of real estate. So that's really powerful. I wanted to ask you about technology. What is like your favorite app that you use, for real estate related, this title mobile app, whatever. There's so many of them right now. But do you have one that you use that you could like say, yeah, this is something I enjoy using and makes my life easier?
Well, I guess besides Instagram, right, or Facebook, I think that there is the and you can look into that. It's the RPR. That's a really good app that was I don't know if it's owned by NAR, by the National Association, but it's the closest thing, and at times actually much more accurate than Zillow or the Zestimate that gives you an AVR, like an real estimate and value of a property, with tons of resources and evaluations and ways to create different reports to your clients. Everything is branded, etc. So every realtor can subscribe to that at no cost, and it's just a mind-blowing, powerful tool. I mean, today it's a bit tricky because the market it's all inflated and it's weird. People pay premium or way over what the property is appraised for, but it's one of the best underutilized tools out there. So that's my favorite.
Someone showed me, we were looking at a property and they're like, look at this one, all the different estimates. And I pointed out, I said, look at the last, look at what the Zestimate is and what it actually sold for. And it's easy, 200,000 to 300,000 on every one of them. It's unbelievable. So this is a question for Lior. How do you get those approved? Somebody who wants a property willing to pay 1.3 and it's only worth $1 million. How do you get the loan approval or the appraisal, actually?
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're doing conventional financing, then it is what it is, right? They have to come up with a difference. Yeah, the lender is going to value whatever the appraisal says. So anything above and beyond that is out of the equation. The customer has to bring. So
if they're putting 20% down on $1 million home, that's 200,000 plus an extra 300,000 difference.
Correct.
That's insane.
Cash.
Yeah. It's got to be very worth it. Let's put it that way. So I want to ask you, because Chuck asked about the app, and we're on our phones all day long. If we checked your battery settings and it shows you how many hours your battery spent on this and that, which one is number one on the list? And it doesn't, not non-business related. What's your favorite fun app?
I mean, honestly, I don't play any games. I don't have any games on my phone, whatever. Anything that will distract me from just focus on what I do best. I think I bring my commitment and intensity just nonstop. I don't take too many breaks. You're probably gonna see, besides the texting app, Facebook, Instagram.
I was gonna say it's got to be Instagram, right? It's at the top of the list for most people nowadays.
I do go to the Google app as well. Not Chrome on the app, the actual app, which looks somewhat similar. And once you open it, it has cool features, but they also have more of a really more up-to-date news, etc., that are more of my liking. I don't really look too much into politics or all kind of issues around us. It's more things that are more on the I'm very selective what I want to listen to and be exposed to, right? It's you rather make your own news versus listen to someone else's opinion about something that they perceive. So that's a good one.
By the way, I want to jump in and say something. We've been able, by the way, we just hit a year of doing rubbing elbows, right? And we've managed to, go the first year and hopefully forever without bringing politics or religion or anything like that into it. It's just real estate, right? And it's great. But we are at a place right now where the country is very divided. Do you have any rules or hey, no politics at the office? Hey, keep that in the parking lot or something.
But not, I'll even add, not just in the office. What do you tell your agents when they're dealing with clients and those conversations come up? Do you give them tips on how to handle it?
I think once again, it's very simple. It's very simple when you start to practice it, right? I mean, we have to remember, especially in real estate, people just, make a decision at some point of their life to get a license. Some of them at a very, very young age, right? Some at some point of their career. It's never too soon. It's never too late. So people come from different paths of life. So we have different morals, different values, different what have you. So different habits. So I think it's very simple when it comes to people say Facebook, Instagram, hey, it's my private thing. I can say whatever I want. Well, it is, but it's also a public platform. So you are when you make a decision to be a public brand or ambassador. Or in that specific case, a realtor, right? You hold that designation, you commit to different level of ethics. You're representing not just yourself. You're presenting 1.6 million people in the US. You're presenting myself, others, etc. in our family or in our industry. So yeah, you have to think twice before you express anything to do with religion, with sex, with politics. If you want to have your own private Facebook group to friends only, go for it. Nobody can tell you what to do. But if it will affect our reputation, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of getting, I agree with that 100%. Speaking of getting licensed, we were talking about that. I think we should get into that first meme. And I think we should
actually, before we jump into that segment, I do want to finish off with one question, because I know that you have really built a lot of the successful real estate teams that we've hear of today, right? And many of them have started under your leadership when they didn't even know anything about the business, right? First day in the business, which a lot of people are not willing to do. They only want experience, and you're willing to take people in that are hungry, motivated, and want to grow. What tips do you give somebody that is, first day on the job and is really hungry, motivated, but just really doesn't know how to get started?
I think, thank you. I mean, we work with everybody, right? We have agents that are just massively successful, and those who are just brand new. We also talk to those that are thinking about getting the license. So yeah, we don't discriminate. And I'm one of those guys that also, barely speak English, and starting my own career, it was a lot of difficulties. I think that it comes down to grit and consistency, and not being afraid. Not being afraid from taking chance on yourself, right? That comes to believing in your ability, or ask yourself, am I really, do I deserve that success? Do I deserve that income? Do I deserve help other people? If it's yes on all those, and other questions you can ask yourself, you're in it to win it. That's what it is. You just have to find the right place that will support you, believe in you, will uplift you, versus to put a lot of no's, and you shouldn't, all those limiting beliefs. And that's how I thrive. I function 100% on pure high level mindset, with people same mindset around me. And guess what? We're having fun, and it works really well for us. So it's just all about that. Just the consistent, go after what you believe is right for you, and just don't stop. That's for everybody.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, I know we asked you to join us for 15-20 minutes. We do have a segment that we just started, a new one called Funny But True Memes of the Week. Do you mind hanging out with us for this last segment and maybe sharing some of your experiences?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Let's start our Funny But True Memes of the Week. All right. So I'm going to bring up my Instagram here. Chuck, you sent me a couple of good ones this week. Let's see what we got. So the first one we have, Chuck, take it away. What do we got here?
They said if I get my license, I'd be rich.
How many times have we seen that? All right. So Meny, is that you, Johnny Depp, over there hugging the agent, the little agent?
Yeah. Come here. I'll give her a hug. It takes time. It takes a minute.
But unfortunately, we see so many people that just think that that's all it takes, right? I'm going to get my real estate license. I know a couple people. I'm going to make millions as soon as I get my license. And you said it, right? It's grit. It's consistency. I would even add it's perseverance, right? If you have those qualities, you just keep sticking it out. You fail forward, because it's going to take time before you catch your niche, your go-to.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the next one here. What is it? This one's great.
Last time I hosted an open house, it's been 84 years. Last time I hosted an open house, it's been 84 years. So
it feels like it, right? With COVID. I mean, when's the last time any of you have been in a real open house?
I feel like when open houses are gonna come back, it's going to be like a party. It's gonna be like a turn off party on a Saturday afternoon.
The funny thing, like some agents that joined the business during pandemic don't even know what open house is. So
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't thought of that. That's true.
yeah.
I mean, they only hear. It's like my kids when I talk to them about the pager codes that we used to do in high school, like 143 or 187. Like, what are you talking about? All right, let's see what else we got here. We have another one. I think it was taken off. This one. Let me see if I can get
This
the
is one of
sound
the
on it.
funniest ones.
Hold on. Let me. I need to start this one over. Tell me if you guys could hear this. One sec.
Well, we can imagine what he says. By the way, if it's not gonna work.
Hey, fuck you, man. We together. Me, hustle. Who do I trust? Me.
So we're all team leaders. We're all, we've all had people that we've recruited and have trained. And as soon as they close a deal, they're Tony Montana.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like no matter what, we always say, yeah, we don't really care. But you invest so much time into people, and then they leave. I mean, Meny, for you, that's got to be true. You help so many people grow, and then somebody comes in, offers them a couple extra bucks, or waves some dangly things in front of their eyes, and they leave. How do you react to that?
It's been a while since I took a bubble bath like that. So I'm not sure about the scenery. I always say it's your journey. I'm here to support you. The door is always open, as long as they do it in a classy way. And guess what? It's once again, it's you own your journey. If you think that's the right path for you, not a problem. But I'm always striving to be the best choice.
And I think that's super classy, right? Being able to almost like when your kids are moving on and you just let them go, but you're also happy for their success, but only if they do it right? If they're honest, they come to you and they do it classy. You keep that relationship. I'm sure many times it comes back tenfold. And as long as that door is open, then they're not embarrassed to come back.
It's a two-way street, because if you're going to be a decent person, and if you're going to be a guy who's just like, yes, it's your journey, whatever you want to do, I've got your back, you've got my support, even if it's not, with our team.
Right.
And you can be decent that way. You expect the person to also be decent that way. And then that will build a relationship, a friendship. That's your colleague for years and years, to come. And you can do deals together. You can, whatever it may be, because this is a small community. There's tons of us, but it's a small community, and you're gonna bump into somebody that somebody you've done a deal with, someone who stole a deal from you, whatever it is,
Yeah, I agree. Chuck, should I bring the last one on? Is there something the Kim
Which one was the last one?
The Kim one?
The what?
The one with Kim.
Oh yes, that's a great
You
one.
like that one?
I love it.
Let's bring it on.
Yeah, that's definitely
Calling the listing agent to ask, what's it gonna take?
Are we seeing a lot of that nowadays? Is it starting to slow down? Because I still get the questions every day, like, what's going to happen in the market? Do you think it's gonna drop? Everyone is starting to get nervous, but in reality, what is it really out there?
Yeah, I think it's still we're still there. 2 hours ago, I spoke to an agent. Today I'm in my Long Beach office. I spoke to an agent. She walks in full of energy, like, hey, what's going on? He calls you, like, I just got a deal for my buyer. We were in backup, and she called the listing agent the last 25 days every other day. Hey, what's going on? How's the escrow? What's going on? How's the escrow? It fell because whatever happened, and then he called her. Hey, you're in, right? And she's like all happy, and because it's kind of tough. I also know on the other end that a lot of people right now starting to just sit and wait. Buyers, okay, let's go and list for a year. Let's just wait for a minute, or maybe we don't need to move. Let's just wait for 2 minutes. Crazy market. What can I tell you?
By the way, I want to give a shout out to one of your top producers, Meny, from Keller Williams, Calabasas, who's my other half, Michelle Mandel, right? And she actually, she was in a similar situation also. We were representing, she was representing a buyer, You know, the buyer went up $500,000 over the price, still didn't get it. She was, you know, in touch with the agent, you know, just kind of being real consistent with what's going on, how are they doing, how's it going, is it moving along? And sure enough, first buyer fell off. Her buyer's coming in. He had to go $600,000 over asking, but he's in.
Yeah.
Great.
Right?
Persistency, just
Yeah,
like Meny said, that's what it takes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. One more shout out to the Los Angeles Real Estate Investors Club. They're doing tons of awesome stuff. They're pushing our podcast on Twitter, on their platforms. There are 41,000 members, and we're going to send some of our off-market opportunities their way today. Also, anything else we need to cover?
I want to thank you, Meny, again for taking the time. It doesn't go unnoticed. We know how busy you are, and
Yeah.
we,
Thank you
you
guys.
know, so we really
Especially you.
appreciate joining, sharing, opening up, and just being a friend. Right? I'm proud to call you a friend, and thank you again for joining our show.
Likewise. Thank you both. I appreciate the time. Thanks for, inviting me.
And for everybody else watching, thank you again. We'll be here again next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Till then, we will keep posting throughout the week to let you know if we do have any new guest speakers. Otherwise, we'll see you next Thursday, 8 o'clock.
Bye, guys.
Good job, guys.